Hi, everybody. I just want to come on today and discuss the spirit potential, the potential of our spirit, that eternal being of light that's infinite and indestructible that resides within our physical form for the short time here in the matter world. I do believe it's necessary in the beginning of our mediumistic journey to have the correct appreciation of what mediumship implies and the need for an elementary understanding of what potential we have as humans spiritually. I do believe that outside of very rare cases like physical mediumship, all of the information that goes from spirit through us for evidential mediumship, trance mediumship, and to affect healing all works through our consciousness. What I mean by it doesn't really include physical mediumship is physical mediumship involves the physicality of the physical medium and people who sit with them in a circle. And the spirit world will pull energy, will pull things that they need from the physical medium and members of the circle to create physical phenomena. What I see, you see. What I feel, you feel. What I hear, you hear. But it has nothing to do with the consciousness of the medium, where in terms of evidential mediumship, trance, healing, as I said before, it all works through our consciousness. So the more spiritualized we can become, the more that we understand the natural laws of attraction, laws of love, laws of tolerance, laws of not being judgmental, laws of not holding prejudice towards other people, the closer we can get to the spirit realm, and like attracts like, light attracts light, and then the spirit world can work with a vessel that's similar to what they are made of, which is pure love and pure light, with the intention to help. So I always say, what's your intention when you start studying mediumship? In my mind, it really should be to provide service and to help. But service is the true meaning of the original religions. That's what it is meant to do. It's meant to help people. So if we could just keep that in mind when we're studying mediumship and working on our abilities and working on our relationship with the spirit realm, that what are we doing? We're doing this to be of service, to help the physical realm, humanity, all living beings, and the spirit realm and God. I do believe that creates a certain affinity between us and our spirit helpers, our spirit guides, and all the loving beings in the spirit world, and they can work with us better because there's not so much sort of resistance, and there's not this constant clashing of ego, or wanting to do this to prove yourself, or wanting to do this to be better than other people that you might work with or heard of, but you want to just help. And that's really what the spirit world is. They want us to live the best life that we possibly can. They want to help us. They want to show us that we should be happy. We should enjoy life and express gratitude. And this really, this mindset, I find, when we can match it, when we can come to an equal grounding with the spirit realm in terms of our intention, it's easier for the spirit world to work with us and through us. Okay, but it all works through the consciousness. So like I said, intention, I feel, is a very important part of it, but that our consciousness, in terms of being living in the physical realm, our consciousness is how we experience the outer world outside of our physical form, right? So when I see something, I'm physically seeing it, but it goes through my eyes, through the nerves of my eyes, into my consciousness, and through neurons and through impulses, then my mind is creating a message of what this is, what I am seeing in front of me. So, or what I'm hearing. If I hear things through my physical ears, my consciousness is then kicking on and changing these tones to a voice that I might recognize, or words that I might relate to or understand, and then it becomes understandable information. The mind is a filter to the outer world. The consciousness is sort of like the mega computer that processes all this information that we're bombarded with at all times through all five senses: sight, hearing, smelling, tasting, and feeling. That's what the consciousness does. It's a filter, and it processes all this information to make it understandable to us, so then we can move forward in our physical lives properly. and understand things. That's the physical consciousness. But I do believe there's a physical consciousness and then there's a spirit consciousness. And when we work with mediumship, I do believe it's similar, that the spirit contact, the past loved one or friend of the sitter who's sitting in front of us, or possibly in a congregation, in the gallery or platform setting, that they're impressing through our spirit consciousness information that we're then processing and understanding, that creates evidence, right? So, for example, if I'm working with you, if you're my sitter and your mother is a spirit contact and your mother is coming close, perhaps through my consciousness, I might get a glimpse of my mother who is still living. So my mother's not in spirit. So my mother's not coming and sort of gate crashing this reading. But that, to me, if I see an image of my mother, that information is then processed through my spirit consciousness. There's a mother stepping forward. Or if my father steps forward, I see him and he stays there, and I start to sort of get glimpses of my relationship with my father, I know there's a similar relationship that's involved with the sitter and this father in spirit. So it's all as this information is processed through your mind. A smell might be moved on through your consciousness from the spirit communicator, a rose, and then you'll begin to feel through your spirit consciousness the smell of this rose, the scent of this rose, the fragrance. And then you'll say, I'm smelling a rose. Now, there's no physical smell happening, but because they're working through your spirit and through your spirit consciousness, I'm smelling it subjectively, right? So I will say that I smell the fragrance of a rose. They might say, the sitter might say, yes, I understand that. Perhaps the name of the spirit contact was rose. Perhaps their favorite flower was rose. Perhaps their favorite perfume was rose scented. It doesn't matter. But as long as this information is being moved through me and my spirit consciousness is understanding what this is, and then I can say, okay, I'm smelling this, I'm tasting this, I'm seeing this, I'm hearing this. It's important to just give what you get. For example, so I've had readings before where I've been shown an object and I have no idea what this object is because it's not in my dictionary, my Rolodex of my consciousness of what this is. Perhaps it's something from another country, another culture. I'm not sure. But if it keeps staying there, I know it's a piece of evidence that I have to give. So through my spirit, I'm seeing this subjectively through my spirit eyes, but I can't really grasp on what this is. So instead of just sort of dismissing it and saying, I'm not understanding, but they're talking in riddles. I'm not sure what they're showing me or what they're trying to tell me. I just will describe what I'm seeing. And okay, I'm seeing it's like a duck with a cigar, but I'm not sure what it is. But it's not really for me as the medium to understand every piece of evidence. I just have to trust myself and the spirit realm enough that I will give what I get. And if I explain to the sitter, I'm not sure if this is like a little stuffed animal or a logo, it's a duck with a cigar. And I say, oh, no, I understand that completely. That's it. I don't have to worry about what this is. After the reading, because I'm naturally inquisitive, I will ask, well, what the heck was this duck with a cigar? And they might say, oh, that was, it was an inside joke of a child's toy that I had. And my grandfather used to hide it all the time. It was a duck, and he put one of his cigars in its hand or in its mouth. Okay, but it means nothing to me when it's being impressed through my spirit consciousness. But it doesn't matter. I gave it to the sitter. So it's important to realize that as much as our consciousness and this processor that we work with in our daily lives, this is also, there's an exact replica of this in our spirit, on the spirit side, like a spirit consciousness. And this is how I feel the spirit will communicate with us. Now, with this consciousness, this spirit consciousness, when we're working on evidence, evidential mediumship, or perhaps inspired speaking, trance writing, healing to a certain extent, it's important to understand that when you're working with the spirit realm in any sort of spirit work that you do, you need to think about your consciousness, physical, and then that moves into your spirit consciousness. You want to think about your consciousness as like a pane of glass or a mirror or a smooth body of water, and try to keep it as smooth or as clean as you possibly can. If you think about a pond or a lake, right, and the ripples on the water as it's moving, think about that as thoughts. Or if it's like a piece of glass or a mirror, if there's specks of dirt or watermarks on this mirror, think about that as thoughts or your own needs and wants going into a reading. This can sort of inhibit when the spirit world is impressing through your consciousness on the surface of your consciousness, this information. You want it to be as clear, the surface to be as clear as possible, so they can reflect clearly on what they're trying to impress through you, that these watermarks or dust or ripples on the water, they can make it harder for the spirit world to get through. So what I really try to do is think about my mind, my consciousness when I'm working in with spirit. I try to leave all of my thoughts, all of my wants and needs, any unhealed issues that I have, imposter syndrome, who do you think you are, children should be seen and not heard, whatever. I try to leave that all outside the reading to create this smooth surface so the spirit world can impress through me and onto my consciousness their evidence, wisdom, counsel, inspiration, to make it as clear as possible so that I can deliver it to who's coming to work with me or hear me, right? So how do you, well, first of all, let me just move back. You can never completely clear or quiet the mind. It's not possible, right? So don't stop trying to think that you can not think at all, that zero thought is needed for spirit work. It's not possible, but you can create windows of peace and calm, and the spirit world can then show you their memories, and then that sort of goes through your spirit consciousness, and then it creates visuals, and subjectively you can then talk about, I'm seeing your grandmother, she worked in an office, right? I'm seeing her at the typewriter typing. I'm hearing as she might move through your spirit consciousness and impress sounds of typing, or a big city, or her favorite song, or the sound of her laugh, or perhaps the sound of her accent, if English wasn't her first language. Excuse me, sorry. But it's important to give the spirit communicator or your spirit guides or spirit inspirers, whoever's working with you from the spirit realm, the best opportunity possible to work through your spirit consciousness. And your physical consciousness and your spirit consciousness, they are separate, right? But they do go together. So if you can clear your physical consciousness by the act of just relaxing, the act of not really going into a reading with anxiety or nerves, or having a preconceived idea of how it's going to work, and just trying to remain as passive and quiet as possible, and take a break from your life for that 45 minutes or an hour. Let all your thoughts, all your emotions start to move away, so you can begin to clear the surface of your consciousness, and then they can work with you better. So how do you calm your mind? How do you clear the surface of your consciousness? By breathing, by relaxing, by learning to meditate, by learning to sit in the quiet, by learning how to just be there in the moment and not think about 800 other things that are happening in your life. We all have stuff going on in our physical life. Of course, we're humans, we have to. But when you're working, when you have that sitter in front of you, or any number of sitters in front of you, if you're doing gallery work, to take a break from your life and your worries. It'll all be waiting for you when you're done, right? But to just give the spirit realm the gift of your patience and your desire to allow them to work through you in the best way possible and to impress onto your consciousness their lives, how they looked, how they sounded, how they passed, shared memories, messages, whatever, but give them that space, that surface that they need to move these memories and evidence through you, right? So the consciousness it's a very important part of our lives. It's really how we survive, right? So like I said before, there's definitely our physical existence, the consciousness, which is very important. We wouldn't be able to really function completely in this world without the uses of our consciousness and the processing that it does to allow us to move forward and understand what's happening outside of our physical form. But the spirit consciousness, it's the same, but it's more on a spiritual nature. And consciousness, I don't believe, dies, spiritual or a lot of your physical consciousness. It's all thought, and thought is energy, right? And I do believe the spirit world is a world of thought and energy. And energy cannot be destroyed, it just changes form. So that's really how they communicate through us and with emotions. So if they're impressing through you, how it feels to just be a joyful individual, like your grandmother's coming through and there's such a joy with her and there's such a love and she's impressing this through me, this feeling of gratitude. Consciousness is also involved in our emotions, right? So it's all about just not going into a reading like feeling nervous, feeling you have to prove yourself, feeling you want to be better than anyone else. Just be there and allow them to work through you, through all your faculties, right? And the only way to do this is to learn how to become even and harmonious within your mind. And if you can do that with your conscious mind, your spiritual mind, your spiritual consciousness will follow suit very quickly. But think about in anything you do with the spirit world, how is the surface of my consciousness? Is it smooth? Is it clean? How is it not smooth and how is it not clean? It's not clean by too many thoughts running through it. And when is it not smooth? It's not smooth when I get nervous. It's not smooth when I feel like I have to prove myself. It's not smooth when I'm bringing fear or anxiety into a reading. Please, please, please keep in mind what you're bringing with you into a reading. How much personal baggage are you bringing in to your spirit world? I did another video, I believe last week or the week before, just about this healing journey, that mediumship and our development will kick up. It happens, right? But all of that stuff that's kicked up will impede and create stains and dust and watermarks onto our consciousness. It has to. But if you consciously just think about, okay, so I'm going into this reading and I'm bringing all of these emotions and all of these fears from my childhood, or even, it doesn't matter if it be childhood, yesterday, with me, you're making the job harder for the spirit world to communicate through you by just having all these thoughts and emotions that are yours, have nothing to do with the spirit world or your sitter. You're bringing them with you and it's impeding the work, the good work that the spirit world want to do through you, right? So please just really think about what you're bringing into that reading and what is needed in that reading. The only thing really needed in that reading is your development. You need to be able to understand development and sitting in the power and blending and linking and holding that link and holding that blend, important, and keeping that power shining bright. But that's important. And the intention, as I said before, the intention is to help. What I always tell the spirit world, right when I'm getting ready to work with them, I will ask them, tell them and ask them, just allow me to help you. Help me help you. Help me help you do your job. And whatever that means, they will then follow suit and they will help you. They will relax you. They will calm you. Ask the spirit world to help clear the surface of your consciousness and to bring this peace within your soul, this calm, within your spirit, and allow your mind to go into this harmonious and even state, and it just makes everything so much easier. And you'll see, the more you get into this ritual of checking your consciousness, what am I thinking, what reactions am I having to this situation, this also helps in your daily life, in the physical world. It really does. And you will become calmer, you will become more confident, you will find your confidence, you will find your faith that there is a bigger plan happening here. And it's not just about living this, whatever, 70, 80 years, and that's it, then we're gone. There's a constant evolution and progression going on that we're supposed to learn. We're supposed to take lessons from the dark times in our lives, because that's how you're going to learn, is when you fall or when you are sort of faced with adversities. That's when the learning really occurs. And to not hold on to all of this hurt and all of this pain, and realize it's bitter medicine that will help you become a more progressed and a more evolved being to help people. Okay, so just think about what I said in terms of the consciousness and how your consciousness really helps you in daily life. It can also help on the spirit level. It can help with your readings and any sort of work you do with the spirit realm. And just think about this mirror, or this pane of glass, or this body of water that's smooth and calm, and then you can see yourself better. Think about a mirror that's dirty and hasn't been cleaned in like 30, 40 years and yellowed with age. You can see yourself, of course, a bit, but how much clearer that reflection becomes when you clear all that gunk away, when you clear all that junk out of the way, and then you see yourself crystal clear. That's what I'm trying to get at here, is allow the surface of your consciousness just to remain as clear and as pristine as possible. And then the spirit world will have a much better chance on bringing through their evidence of survival of so-called death, or their inspiration, or their wisdom, or their counsel through you, for you, or for people coming to work with you, better. And it will be clearer. And you won't be getting in the way. Your thoughts won't be kind of peppered into this information that comes through, because that's also what happens if the surface of your consciousness is dirty and busy. Pieces of you will come through with the evidence, and then you will add to it and embellish it, not on purpose, I don't feel, but that's what happens. It's working through us. Please, the last thing I do want to say, I'm going on a bit too long, but that the evidence and the inspiration is always divine. It comes from the realm of spirit, which is shared with the God power and energy. But the vessel, the equipment, us, is human, right? See, I don't know why that happens. See, so you're getting a like from the spirit realm. I never know why these emotions happen, and when I try to allow them to do them again, it never happens. So yeah, so that was a thumbs up and fireworks from the spirit realm. Okay, so thank you very much. I will end it there because I can't top spirit, and I will see you all soon. Thank you. Have a good day.